Alright, we have a breaking news story, and this just keeps getting crazier and crazier. So before the election happened, I repeatedly said on this channel that Donald Trump wasn't going to hire people based off merit or skill, only based on their loyalty to him. And while that turned out to be true, I missed one key factor that Donald Trump was looking for, and it's how good these people are on TV. I'm going to admit, I did not expect Donald Trump to go full reality television mode and start pulling people off of his favorite television shows. You can think of Linda McMahon, who's the wife of the founder of the WWE. You can think of Pete Hegseth, who he pulled straight off of Fox News, literally straight off of Fox News. You can look at Dr. Oz. The list goes on, but Donald Trump is filtering people based on how good they are on camera rather than how well they can run the Pentagon, for example. So we just got a new article titled, Pete Hegseth's mother accused her son of mistreating women for years. Penelope Hegseth made the accusation in an email to her son in 2018 amid his contentious divorce. She said on Friday that she regretted the email and had apologized to him, but it's not just about this one email from Pete Hegseth's mother. It's not even just about Pete Hegseth in particular. It's this broader pattern that we see in the Trump universe, and Mehdi Hasan had a really good tweet about this. He said, "So a reminder, it's not liberals saying Hegseth abuses women, it's his own mom. It's not liberals comparing Trump to Hitler, it's his vice president, and it's not liberals calling Musk a liar and a racist, that's his own child, for the record." Make sure you drop a like and subscribe if that is the truth, and let's jump in to this new article that describes how Pete Hegseth is basically a serial abuser, and then I want to show you guys how he justifies this through a certain cultish group that he's joined. We'll get to that. So this reads, the mother of Pete Hegseth, President-elect Donald J. Trump's pick for Secretary of Defense, wrote him an email in 2018 saying he had routinely mistreated women for years and displayed a lack of character, to say the least. Quote, on behalf of all the women, and I know it's many, you have abused in some way, I say, get some help and take an honest look at yourself, Penelope Hegseth wrote, stating that she still loved her son. And I do have empathy for the mom here. I'm sure it's not easy finding out that you raised a piece of shit, and she even tried to acknowledge it straight up in a letter, but now she's rehabilitating his image and trying to run defense, which is incredibly sick, but at the end of the day, the mom can't completely control who she raised. I do have a level of empathy. She then wrote, I have no respect for any man that belittles, lies, cheats, sleeps around, and uses women for his own power and ego. Is she describing, she could be describing anybody in Trump's cabinet here, literally anybody in the Trump family. You are that man and have been for years, she said. And as your mother, it pains me and embarrasses me to say that, but it is the sad, sad truth. Mrs. Hegseth, in a phone interview with the New York Times on Friday, said she had sent her son an immediate follow-up email at the time apologizing for what she had written. She had fired off the original email in anger with emotion, but the thing is, when you read the email, it sounds pretty calm and calculated. I'm sure she was emotional, but I'm sure this is something that she's been noticing for years. Nobody knows their own sons like mothers. Like, my mom knows me better than anybody else on the planet, so I can guarantee that Pete Hegseth's own mom saw this pattern of behavior firsthand, and it seems like she herself was turned off by it. In an interview, she defended her son and disavowed the sentiments she had expressed in the initial email about his character and treatment of women. See, that is gross, doing the backpedaling there. Quote, it is not true. It has never been true, she said. She then added, I know my son. He is a good father, husband. She said that publishing the contents of the first email was disgusting, but here's the thing. She just said, I know my son. She does know her son, and that's why she sent this long email saying, man, I've known you for years, and I've seen this long pattern of behavior. But questions about Mr. Hegseth's treatment of women have emerged in the week since Mr. Trump chose him, and I don't know if you guys have heard of this, but my friend sent me this source. It says, I'm doing an effort post into Pete Hegseth, his past and his connections to the CREC, a church he joined in 2020 led by a neo-Confederate named Doug Wilson. Is anybody well read about Doug Wilson and the CREC? Let me know in the comment section below. I'm just researching it this weekend. Wilson preaches an insanely strict interpretation of headship, which teaches women that it is a grave sin to disobey their father, husband, and church leaders. This includes explicit support of marital rape. It is telling that after his rape allegations, Pete Hegseth joined a church that is explicitly pro-rape. And there are Vice documentaries, there are NPR podcasts about this. Doug Wilson has said it in his own words that this is what he believes. And then Pete Hegseth joins this church And this article reads, questions about Mr. Hegseth's treatment of women have emerged in the weeks since Mr. Trump chose him, a veteran of the Iraq and Afghanistan wars, to lead the Pentagon. The issue is expected to be a subject of scrutiny during Senate confirmation hearings. And again, I do want to say, it's not just Pete Hegseth's lack of qualifications, it's also this pattern of mistreating women. And it's not even just about Pete Hegseth. It's this broader pattern that Donald Trump surrounds himself with people who have deeply troubling history. How come every single Trump pick has to have the most insane baggage ever? Whether it's rape accusations or RFK Jr. killing a bear in a park, whatever the hell he did. But let's just talk about what Pete Hegseth's role would be if he's confirmed as the Secretary of Defense. The Department of Defense is one of the largest and most complex organizations in the world, meaning Pete Hegseth, this dude who is a Fox News host, would oversee a workforce of 2.8 million people, including active duty personnel, civilian employees, and contractors. He would oversee a budget of $42 billion, making it one of the largest discretionary budgets in the U.S. history, and this dude has talked about cutting half of the Pentagon's budget, or workers he has no clue what he's doing. The national security operations worldwide would be led by a Fox News host that Donald Trump likes, including the nuclear arsenal, including cybersecurity initiatives and ongoing military engagements, even global alliances like NATO. These require careful diplomacy and strategic thinking. You have to be good with other people. You can't be I'm not even going to say it. I'm not even going to say what I was thinking. Reports of his infidelity have focused attention on his character and leadership, particularly for a civilian overseeing the military, where active duty service members can be subject to prosecution for adultery under the Uniform Code of Military Justice. Again, the things that Pete Hegseth is being accused of, the things that Pete Hegseth has likely done, even though he denies it, are not even permitted by the military. Another issue is how the senators will view a rape complaint against Hegseth filed to the police in October 2017 after an incident at a political conference in California. And listen to this, filed to the police. Right-wingers always use this line that, why did the woman wait 5 years to file this report or to come out about these allegations? Number one, sometimes it's not that simple. The police won't believe you. You need a very high burden of proof, but this does read, it was filed to the police right away in 2017, even though no charges were ever brought towards Pete Hegseth, and the complaint has not come forward publicly. Mr. Hegseth has said that he was falsely accused by a woman who he had a sexual encounter with, but he did secretly pay her a settlement a couple years later, only because, according to his lawyer, he wanted to protect his job. Mr. Hegseth emailed her son on April 30th of 2018 during a turbulent period in his life. He was in the middle of a contentious divorce from his second wife, Samantha, and I don't want to get into his personal life and say different things, but all I know is that this dude has had 3 different wives, multiple different rape allegations, and then after his rape allegations, his mom came out and said, dude, you gotta stop being a piece of shit. So you can paint a pretty convincing picture here that this dude is a piece of shit to every wife he has. And again, I'm not trying to say that just because you got divorced, there's some implication you can draw there. Some of my closest family members got divorced for very valid reasons. I'm just saying when you're Pete Hegseth and you've gotten remarried 3 times, and all of your previous wives say that you're kind of a piece of shit, including your mom, then you can make a pretty convincing story. Also, did you guys know that a couple years ago, we learned that the Pentagon removed 12 U.S. National Guard members from Biden's inauguration for being too extreme after vetting, and one of them was Pete Hegseth himself. First of all, this article reads, Pete Hegseth was removed from Biden's inauguration and labeled an extremist. On Tuesday, Donald Trump announced Pete Hegseth. This article was written a few weeks back. The Fox News commentator who saw active service with the Minnesota National Guard. Minnesota National Guard to the Pentagon. Imagine that. I haven't served at all, so I'm not talking trash about the National Guard. I'm just saying the National Guard straight to the Pentagon with a little bit of Fox News in between. That's America, baby. Hegseth was one of a number of the National Guard members who was ordered to stand down from Joe Biden's inauguration due to being labeled an extremist. Let's listen to him talking about it himself.
I was deemed an extremist because of a tattoo by my National Guard unit in Washington, D.C. And my orders were revoked to guard the Biden inauguration. Jerusalem cross tattoo, which is just a Christian symbol.
Is that the
This is the one.
Is that the tattoo?
Yep, right here. This one is what got me disinvited.
Womp womp. Sorry, buddy. Well, I'll leave you guys with that. Drop a like, subscribe. I'll make more videos breaking this down because These operations, the ones that Pete Hegseth will be appointed to, they demand expertise, discipline, and good leadership. Now, I don't have expertise in the area of the Pentagon, but I know for certain that Pete Hegseth doesn't either, so I'll be bringing people on. We'll be dissecting this stuff. We'll be keeping truth at the forefront and trying to push democracy forward. Make sure you drop a like, subscribe, have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace out.